Hi, my name is Syra, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about what the Hunger Project does and how you can get involved with Hike4hunger. When most people think of hunger, they immediately think of famine. They think of starving children, people with bloated bellies, people wasting away, that kind of thing. Famine is extremely important, but it's actually not as big a part of global hunger as most people realize. Only about 8% of the 1 billion hungry people in the world today are facing acute famine situations. The majority, which is over 900,000 people, are chronically hungry. What this means is that they're not getting the nutrition that they need on a daily basis. Most people may eat only once a day, and even what they do eat is not enough to meet their energy and nutrient requirements. They often only eat something like cassava or some other starchy foods that they've grown themselves, and this just does not have the energy that they need. As a result, people don't realize how big this problem really is. Undernutrition is associated with over a third of child deaths in the world today. So think of your own families. Think of your sons, your daughters, your nieces, your nephews, your friends' children. Think about what this would mean for them if they were living in a developing country. I'm going to show you a short video of the cycle of malnutrition. It shows how undernutrition begins early in life and continues on for the rest of the person's life and can potentially affect future generations. The video shows the cycle of malnutrition in South Asia, but the key messages are applicable in most developing countries, certainly in Africa.
A girl is born into a family that wanted and prayed for a son. Our culture still believes that only a son can take care of parents in their old age. So the birth of a daughter is seen as a burden and a sad occasion. A girl is breastfed 6 to 8 weeks less than a boy, in the hope that the mother may more quickly become pregnant again, this time with a boy. A girl eats last and least, after the men and boys, and sometimes she gets nothing at all. She is most often kept out of school in the confines of her home to take care of her siblings, to do the household chores, and to work as a laborer. In adolescence, when her body most needs more nutrition, she still gets less. Girls are often married as soon as they reach puberty and begin having babies before their own bodies have fully developed. She gives birth to malnourished children, and with each daughter born, the cycle continues, not only year after year, century after century, from generation to generation.
The first 1,000 days of a child's life, that is from conception till the age of about 2, are the most important for their healthy development. Any nutritional deficiencies during this time can affect a child for the rest of their life. As the damage caused is irreversible, it affects both their physical and their cognitive growth. Take a look at this little girl in the photograph over here. She looks about 5 or 6, maybe 7 years old. But she's actually 9 years old. She did not get enough food in the first 2 years of her life and continues to receive less food than she needs. As a result, her growth and development have been permanently affected. She's never going to grow to her full potential. Because her immune system has been affected, she's going to be more susceptible to disease for the rest of her life and may even have an earlier death because of that. The good news, though, is that solutions do exist, and they aren't as expensive as most people think they are. We at the Hunger Project believe that we can end world hunger. Now you must be thinking, I've just told you 1 billion people are hungry. How in the world are we going to feed all of them? It is an overwhelming thought because 1 billion people to feed is a lot of people. However, we at the Hunger Project, we don't see 1 billion mouths to feed. We know that people are extraordinary. We don't think that people who live in hunger are the problem. We see them as the solution. We know that people are resilient, they're intelligent, they're hardworking, and if we just give them the opportunity, they themselves can end their own hunger. So what we do is we unlock their capacity and creativity. We build leaders. In this process, We actually don't just work on food security, because let's face it, you can't really talk about ending hunger without addressing the other problems related to poverty. That's why our programs also address health, education, water and sanitation, and microfinance. Using this integrated approach, we know that hunger can end, and that ours can be the generation that ends it once and for all. Because we build leaders, we can exit a community in 5 to 9 years. At this point, the community is self-reliant and continues to grow after the Hunger Project leaves. McKinsey has shown this. They did a study of our communities in Uganda, and they showed that even after the Hunger Project left, more loans were given out, more loans were repaid, average loan size increased, there were more savings, and there were more community development projects started up, so the community continued to grow. I'm going to show you a short clip of Michael Rennie, who's the head of McKinsey Australia and a member of our national board. He explains a little bit more about how our model of leadership works and why it works so effectively.
So, Michael, on that, I'm interested in what parallels you see between what it takes to change a culture inside an organisation, which you do obviously every day with your work with McKinsey, and what it takes to change a culture inside the villages where the Hunger Project is working. What parallels do you see?
So what was amazing to me was, one, the parallels are extraordinary, and two, what they're doing actually in the Hunger Project is world's best practice. And I know that because in my role in McKinsey as leader of the global practice, I got to really, see what world's best practice is. And the key principles that we learned the hard way, I guess, on the business side, and we took a lot of this from psychology, is that organisations don't change, people do. Right? So the first thing you have to do is get the individuals to shift their behaviours. And if you get enough of them, a critical mass of them shifting their behaviour, then the organisation will change, or the village will change. And Hunger Project uses the same model. It's about helping individuals shift into a mindset that they can actually solve their own hunger. And it's the same thing we have to do in change in businesses, move people from what they call in psychology an external locus of control. In other words, it's happening to me, I can't change it, it's all too hard, too much red tape, they'll never do it, to I can change this, I can drive this, I can make it happen. And then if you have an organisation doing that, what you do is you create an organisation of owners who will feel like, I'm going to make this happen. And that's effectively what they do in the Hunger Project. So they go in and they actually work with people to change their mindsets and their behaviours and their beliefs that drive their behaviours, and they do that in a group setting so that everyone sort of aligns around that. And they call it vision, commitment, action workshops. And these things look like, except for the walls, because they're all on dirt floors, and they have, post-it sort of things up on, flip charts and priority lists, and you've got village women who hardly can write, working with a facilitator or an animator, they call them, it's a much better word, animator, to do this. And so it's a very, very similar process. And the power of the process is that once you get people totally driving, having made this mindset shift and then choosing to go on this journey, then the money you put in to support them has, our research showed 15 times the impact. So that is incredibly analogous to what we've found in business. But the techniques they use and the training that these people have, because there's like 150,000 of these people in Bangladesh alone, these animators, the training, when I sat down and I went and sat through the training programs, they're as good as the training programs that we do for our change champions in a big organisation, where we're teaching them these same skills of how you facilitate people, how you work with groups. So it's very, very, very advanced and very, very consistent with the best of what's happening in business.
As you can see, we change the mindsets of people from aid dependency to independence and self-reliance, from I can't to I can to we can. With this changed mindset, people come together to work as a community to solve their own problems and become self-sufficient. Women are an incredibly important part of this process. We believe that they are key change agents for development. In fact, studies from the UN have shown that when women are supported and empowered, the entire society benefits. What we do is we work with grassroots women to help them gain a voice and recognize that they can be the leaders in their community. We do all this incredibly efficiently. We're currently reaching 35 million people worldwide with only about 350 staff. How do we do this with so few staff? Well, we engage 450,000 volunteers worldwide. These community volunteers and leaders are the ones who are making the change happen. So in Uganda, we have Ugandans doing the work. We don't send Westerners over there, dig the wells. The Ugandans do it themselves. That's a little bit about what we're doing around the world. How can you be a part of this here in Australia? Well, we're working with leaders over here as well, and you can be a leader with us. You can join us with Hike4Hunger. It's a great way for you to lead action towards fulfilling our vision of a world without hunger. We're inviting you to be a leader in your organization and in your community to raise the profile of global hunger. Our concept is simple. All you need to do is lead or join a hike in October around World Food Day with the goal of raising awareness and funds for the sustainable end of global hunger. Our fundraising targets for our hikes in 2012 is $150,000. What can we do with all this money? Well, we can train 75,000 rural farmers on farming techniques. What often happens is that untrained farmers are using crude farming techniques which result in over-farming of the land and a low crop yield, leading them to be hungry. What we do is, for $2, we train a farmer on simple yet extremely effective farming methods. Simple things like drip irrigation, the use of microdose fertilizers, and crop rotation. These things enable them to dramatically increase their yield so that they can feed themselves and their families today, tomorrow, the day after, and forever. Hike4Hunger is a global movement. Here's a small snapshot of some of the hikes that have happened over the past few years. Last year, we had hikers in 16 countries with 26 hikes. How can you get involved? Well, you can either lead a day hike or you can join one of our pilgrimages. Day hikes are a simple and fun way for you to get involved. All you need to do is get a group of people together. They can be your friends, your family, your co-workers, your church or other religious community. Get them together, do some fundraising together, and then lead your hike. We make it really easy for you to get your hike started. You can create a webpage for your hike on our website and send this link out to people so that they can go there, learn a little bit about what you're doing and why, and then directly make a donation over there. You could also go on one of our pilgrimages. The pilgrimages are longer hikes lasting 8 days. They're definitely more of a commitment, but they're extremely rewarding experiences. Just ask any of our past participants. There are 2 pilgrimages which you can participate in. One is from Canberra to Mount Causey, which is 240 kilometers from the end of September to the beginning of October. Or you could do our second pilgrimage, which is the Kokoda Track in Papua New Guinea. This is actually new to us this year. So if you have a really keen sense of adventure, I hope you'll consider joining this hike. So we invite you to challenge yourself. You can be a part of something that's much bigger than yourself. You've seen how the people in the communities that we partner with have led the change in their own communities. We want you to be a leader. You can help spread the word. You can raise the funds. So come join us in ending world hunger.